Fourth day in a row with a video, so keep trying changing up the setting. I realize the acoustics outdoors are not nearly as good as in my controlled indoor spaces, especially yesterday walking so close to the street. Speaking of which, today actually what we're competing with sound-wise is literally a Los Angeles freeway. So, pardon the background noise, gonna do my best to edit it out. Now, meanwhile, it's not all like that. I mean, look over here, it's just, neighborhoods and stuff. And that's something that I certainly was surprised by on my first visits to Los Angeles, where when I was growing up as a Midwestern kid, I just kind of assumed that big cities were just skyscrapers as far as the eye could see, because that's kind of what I saw on TV shows and stuff. But man, like a whole bunch of Los Angeles, you just spin me around on any kind of neighborhood street corner, I couldn't tell you if I was in the middle of a small town Illinois, if I was in the middle of Missouri where I came from, or Oklahoma where I was before that, or whatever. Just houses as far as the eye can see, no matter where you go. I mean, if anything, right, it's just sprawling. It just goes out very, very far. It's one of the weird phenomena flying into Los Angeles that you're just going over a city as far as your eyes can see in every direction. It's like those Star Wars planets where the whole planet's a city. Anyway, where I'm getting with this is that when I was on that panel yesterday, the industry folks, 3 other people on that small panel actually came from the Midwest also. And that was something I thought was cool in that growing up as a little kid, I just kind of figured that was going to be a problem for me, right? That I wasn't in New York City, I wasn't in San Francisco, I wasn't in Los Angeles. What was I going to be able to do? Even when I was in college, right, I was in Pittsburgh, which it's a city, but it's not, it doesn't have that reputation like some of these other big cities do for being tech industry, entertainment sector, whatever. And I just pictured that was going to be such a problem for me trying to make games, that I couldn't, who else was I going to find to work with, who else could I learn from? And just what a difference technology and internet have made, especially in the game development community, be able to reach and work with people worldwide, right? I mean, literally making games today, I've got people I'm working with in all kinds of countries, of course through Game Keto Club, but even aside from that, in my business, etc., my business bookkeeper guy, he used to be in Washington, D.C., but he's moved back and forth to California. Didn't affect anything that we do because he does all his work remotely. Krister, our fellow mentor at Game Keto Club, of course, he's in Canada. Met him through social networks. Speaking of which, I think sometimes people forget, when you post to social networks, that's real people there, right? I mean, okay, there's some bots out there too, but a lot of it is real people making real connections. Some people have this mistaken idea that, like, it doesn't count. It's not real, that it's getting in the way of real intimacy. And I think that's a bunch of rose-tinted garbage, right? I mean, I don't think that was really... I think it used to be people would be just side by side, lonely, next to their neighbor they never communicated with. Wait for this truck to pass. Now, heck, the amount of people you can meet and interact with online is enormous. Just really amazing. And that for people who want to relocate their lives, if they want to be somewhere else, they want to take their lives somewhere else, I've been impressed with how much game development's been a vehicle for that. Bringing people from wherever they're at out to conferences. That sometimes builds a bridge to, if they want to move to those cities, if they want to relocate their lives, suddenly they have connections in those spaces, in those places. That was something, too, that I remember when I was starting even the club, right? At first, I was thinking very locally, and that was one of my mistakes that I made in my business, is I thought, okay, there's a lot of people in Los Angeles. I'm in Los Angeles. I should take advantage of that somehow and make this a local LA group. In fact, so just over here, I'm not sure you're going to be able to see it, but like right over there on the tree line, that hotel is literally where we reserved our first space for our first live in-person club meeting back before we were fully online. And, we started meeting in a public library for every single week after that. But the problem I was running into is even when we were all local, right, like traffic in this kind of enormous area is bad. And so we needed to make sure it worked for people who were farther away, so we made a lot of it work online. And that's when we came to the realization that no matter how many people are where you're at, there's more people where you're not. And that could sound so simple that I'm going to try to go back to what I'm even trying to say with that. Yeah, there's a lot of people in Los Angeles. There are more people not in Los Angeles. And that's true for no matter where you are in the world. And coming to that realization really opened up for me the power of doing business online, making games, and collaborating online, which helped me realize, like, I'm in Los Angeles right now, but, if I choose to move tomorrow to somewhere else, I can keep doing exactly what I'm doing. Keep making games the same way I'm making games, keep running my business the same way I'm running my business. And it's just enormous how, like, making games was the entryway into that path in life for me. That's what brought me into that kind of level of technology comfort, those kind of online networks of people. And speaking of people, we occasionally hear like Twitter's not being used as much anymore, Twitter this, Twitter that. man, whoever's leaving Twitter, it's not game developers. There is such a thriving community of generous, friendly, kind game developers on Twitter. Not that everyone on Twitter is kind, but among the game development community, overwhelmingly such helpful people, such great people. Made so many of my connections and contacts through just sharing people's work on Twitter, reaching out to people on Twitter. Social media in general, again, I think people will give it not enough credit as to the way it can really help connect people who would never have met to really be able to have an impact in each other's lives for years, right? So, anyway, just want to share that games can really be something that changes our lives. Games don't have to just be this thing that we like to do for fun, or, you know, I talked about the video of the day, right? Games can be a vehicle for maybe even making a change in other people's lives. Games can make a change in our own lives. Games can help relocate us. Games can help open up our friendships, our networks, our professional opportunities around the world just through making games. And I think that's awesome. So I'm excited to be helping more people get into it. That's it for today. I realize the acoustics out here aren't great. I'm going to go back inside. But thanks for tuning in. Look forward to playing games in the future. Bye for now.